So welcome everybody. This is Consistently Creative Crew, and we are having our open Zoom crop tonight. And before we get started, we're going to demo fairly quickly the This Life Simple Page Kit number 7. Can you believe we're already on number 7 for the year? So if you've been doing each of these page kits every month, you are going to end up with a really nice whole set of layouts for a nice album. So Cheryl has a sample layout here on her page where she did the layout pretty much as was described in the kit. And then she added some of the embellishments that Creative Memories has provided. And it looks like they're kind of shiny and sparkly. So adding some extra bling to the page. So Cheryl, that's a really nice layout. It gives us a good idea of what this is going to look like when we're done. And the other thing that we did is I provided a PDF for some instructions in case you did not have the kit, but you wanted to try to do it either digitally or traditionally with some of your scrap stash. So we all have lots of paper that we could actually create this kit with. So I am going to go over to my page and just show the PDF really quickly. If you do not have it already, it can be found on our Facebook group, Consistently Creative Croppers. So this PDF is available there. So with the kit, we pretty much get the same types of items every month for this kit. There are 3 sheets of paper. One is designed as a cut apart and a sticker sheet along with some instructions. And so this shows us what the sample layout that Creative Memories provided with it. You can see it looks very similar to what Cheryl was showing us before without pictures. And then the designer paper that is cut, I have the dimensions here. So if you are doing this with your own stash of paper or you're doing this using digital software, this is what that designer paper being cut is like. And then the base papers have a really nice design on it. So it is this, which is really kind of neat, this nice circle that looks like a sunburst. And here is the information about once you've put all of your photos on it, all of the cut aparts on it, what all the dimensions are. So feel free to grab that from our Facebook group. And I think we will be ready to get started. I will spotlight my table. So again, the ingredients that we get from Creative Memories with this kit is this instruction sheet that has some information about what the photo sizes are, as well as what the coordinating cardstock, if you ended up wanting to add them to this layout because maybe you have more pictures or something. This is the cut apart, and on one side it has these numbered pieces on it, and on the flip side you can see what it's going to look like. So it's very helpful and makes it very easy to assemble this. We also have 2 base papers, and this is the design that they have. It's actually different this month. The left and the right page are different. And on the reverse side, they have that starburst pattern. So you could actually assemble your layout using this as your base if you prefer. So you have 2 options. And then here is the sticker sheet. So it has quite a few stickers that you can use. And again, this is an exclusive mini embellishment kit that you can get from your Creative Memories advisor and use this to embellish your layout a little bit more. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cut this paper, and it is pretty straightforward. We're going to end up cutting these strips apart, which they are all 4-inch strips. And then we're going to end up cutting them in half. So we end up with these, all these photo mats that are all 4x6. So I'm going to go ahead and do my cut. And we've kind of learned if you cut from this side, even if you're really careful and line everything up perfectly, the opposite side printing, the tolerance for that printing, it just might find that you're just a little bit off. So we find it much easier to actually cut it using the patterned slide up. So I'm going to cut these 2 strips off, and they are actually 4-inch strips. So if you're cutting your own paper, you can go ahead and set that up with 4 inches, and that's actually, and then we've got another one that's 4 inches. And then these 2 pieces, we're going to cut them in half, and so that's at 6 inches. So I need to actually swing my arm out on my trimmer. 2 photo mats. And then there's 2 more. And then this last piece, if you were to measure this, this is, there's a 2-inch piece, another 2-inch, another 2-inch, and a 6-inch. So I'm going to cut that 6-inch piece off first. And then if I look at these are all 2 inches, but again, I like to cut with the pattern side up on my trimmer so I can try to line it up as best as I can. Again, the printing tolerances, there's a little bit of give sometime between the front and the back, and it can only be so precise. And then I didn't quite line it up. There we go. So that's all the cuts for this. So again, we ended up with 5 photo mats that were 4x6 and 3 tag shapes that are 4x2. And if we look at their sample layout, I apologize, my photo arm is kind of in the way. I wasn't quite set up to do this tonight, but hopefully you can see enough and it's working anyways. So they had 2 photos that were horizontal on the left page, 1 that was vertical, and they had 2 photos that they weren't quite vertical. They kind of tilted them just a little bit on the left page. And then they had these 3 banners over on the right page. Now, the interesting thing about these banners is that if you want them to be banners like this, you're going to end up wanting to cut this little bit off. So there are probably more ways of cutting this than there are people here online with us. So how you do this is up to you. If you want these 2 angles to be identical, you might want to fold it in the center, at least pinched down at that end, and then trim it as nicely as you can. And nobody's ever going to notice if it's perfect or not perfect. But there are some people, you might want to do this with your trimmer. You can do this with a pair of scissors, or you could decide to not trim it at all. But they've got this nice stitching on it to embellish it a little bit. And if you folded it over on the back, you could see if you were cutting it on the line or not. And those 3. And you look at their sample picture, you can see the way they stagger them is that they made one of them longer and one of them shorter, which means that to do that, they will have them kind of hanging off the page. So in order to kind of do that, they would actually adhere them and then trim them off of the edge of their page when they're done. I am not going to do all of that because I'm not quite sure what photos I'm going to use with this, but hopefully that gives you a quick idea of how to do this. So does anybody have any questions that I should show them on the traditional layout before I flip over to doing this digitally? All right. So I'm going to go over and switch
Looks
over.
good.
I think we can do this on the same recording. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so to do this digitally, it's a little bit more challenging than some of the other ones that we've done, because if you're trying to reproduce this starburst. So the one that they have has a lot more points on that star, which I decided was not worth my time to actually reproduce it and do it by hand, because it would be kind of like cutting the paper all individually and putting all of those little points on them. So instead, what I did was I tried to find some embellishment that we already had that looked kind of like this, and decided that's what I was going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and recreate this digitally. And I think in the end, it'll be just fine. So on the left page, I'm going to start by just inserting our base paper. So that's a 12 by 12. And I am going to pick a color that's pretty close. I didn't start with the same kind of pattern that they had, because I didn't have the kit that had the same thing. And when I was looking at the CM website, they were not actually offering that paper for sale digitally. So I decided I was just going to go with this solid blue. So then the next thing we have is a 12 by 4-inch red strip that goes across. So I'm going to insert another shape, and this one's 12 by 4. And I'm going to make this red. So that's that one. And this one ended up being about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. So that's about where it was. And then we had a 1-inch strip that was 11.5 inches long. So this is this darker red, and 11.5. One. And that was this one, and it was kind of snug up against it. So if I look at their sample, and I don't know if we can see this well enough. If I look at their sample kit here, and I blow it up a little bit large, you can kind of see that where they took this banner cut here, it's not quite in the center. So they intentionally staggered it up a little bit on their base paper, which gives it a little bit different dimensional effect. So when you are layering this ribbon that we're kind of cutting, if you're going to go ahead and take this and make a banner out of it, you might want to line it up. You might not want it to be perfectly symmetrical laying on the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and take that right now and do that banner cut out of it. So what I have found to be a fairly easy way to do it is to select that element, go up to cut, and then select shapes. And yes, I want to flatten. And then if I select this square shape and I bring it all in nice, I tend to go in and zoom in and take a good look at this and try to make certain that I've got it lined up perfectly, so it will take a fairly symmetrical chunk out of there. And you can kind of see I'm trying to line up these points fairly nicely. And I've zoomed in enough that if it's just slightly off, nobody will ever know. So then when you're cutting, I make a habit of going and checking, do I want to keep the unshaded area? So I do want to keep that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And now I've got that banner cut, and it's close enough that even if it wasn't perfectly lined up, you'd be able to see. And when I was talking about where to put this, if I put it down here, it looks one way. So you see how this point is actually lined up on that red piece behind it. But they set it up so that it would be just a little bit offset. And then we have that. So that is that base. And then we can do the little banner pieces that are up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert one, and I'm going to insert it as a 2x4. And I am going to go ahead and cut that one just right now, because since I cut one, I can do that pretty easily. Go back to cut and shapes, and yes to flatten, and it's still a square. And then I can bring it in. And again, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so I can make certain that I'm lined up fairly nicely. And that looks pretty good. And I want to keep the unshaded area and cut. Now, since I need 2 more of these, I am just going to copy and paste 2 more of them, and I'm going to change their colors. So one of them is supposed to be dark blue. So I'm going to, actually, I think it was the other dark blue. No. Okay. And then the other one was the lighter blue. That was layered on top. And I want that to be the top banner. And they lined them up kind of like that. All right, so that's that page. And that pretty much does everything for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and save that page. And now I'm going to go ahead and insert a mirror image of this page. And this, I noticed, didn't actually arrange the way I wanted it. So now I've got the banner on the other side. I'm going to erase these 3 little banners. And now I need to deal with that circle. So this circle pattern that they have here, I created a circle and then I used this embellishment from another art kit. And there are a number of different art kits that have something that's fairly similar to it. There we go. And I had found one CM kit. Okay, I don't see it. So let me go back, see what it was. No, there is no copyright. All right. So if you don't know what kit might have something like that, you can go and take a look at your embellishments. And I know that there was one, a summertime one that had that kind of star type of thing on it. All right, it's gotta be here. I think I'm gonna, can somebody grab the pause of the recording while I find that so people don't have to sit here and watch me? Okay, it was Creative Memories Sweet Summer. I just had not scrolled down far enough. So here, there were a couple of them that came in that kit that look very similar to this sun. So we've got this sun, and we've got this one that just looks like an outline kind of shape. And then we had this one. So there were a couple of them. They all look very similar when you put them on your page. So I'm going to go back to the correct page. And I'm going to add this to the page. And Okay, I'm going to now add my circle. So it was an insert, an ellipse, and it was an 8.5 one, and it was white. And it wasn't quite centered in the page. And then this, we want to retain it as a square. So I'm just going to put it up in the front. So I'm going to lock the aspect ratio. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger right now. And then I'll put it behind. And you can decide how much you want it to show with those points on the outside. And then it was a light blue, but I think when I did this, I think I made it just a slightly brighter blue so that we could tell the difference between it and the background. So that.
Oh,
and you can align these and center them, and then I'm going to group them. So as I move them about the page, I can do that. So now I pretty much have the base of the pages laid out and set up, and I just need to add my photo mats and my photos. So all of the photo mats are going to be pretty similar. So rectangle 4x6. And this one was going to be dark blue. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the photo frame to that. That's 3.5 by 5.5. I'm going to center them. And that's that one. And then I'm just going to copy and paste these, put those there, line them up. I'm going to make the back one, I think was the red. And you can go ahead and tilt them and do whatever you want or leave them straight. And I'm going to copy one of these and then go over to the other page. Put them in here. And now I can go ahead and copy these, but I'm going to need them rotated. So now when I do that, if I go to fill in my photo will be sideways. But I can actually go and I can rotate the photo in the frame. And that, the photos, I don't have a photo in there. So. There we go. So I can always do that if I need to. So I'm just going to remove and replace. The other option is to just create a new photo. And this one's again 3.5 by 5.5. No, I had that backwards. And align these. And this one is going to be light blue. And add another one, and this one was the red. And then there's plenty of room for embellishments and titles and anything else. So this was a little bit different for creating that. Again, I'm going to show these two pages together. And again, you can go ahead and rotate either of these pictures, put them on the side. If you are interested in creating this shape and you don't happen to have that Sweet Summer kit, there was also a Forever digital art kit that had it and it was coordinated, wasn't it? Coordinating Classic Sunshine and Showers that had it. And we've got this one here that had the same kind of pattern. So I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't have a shape that had that in it. So you could always utilize that. Otherwise, you might just be interested in putting some circles. So I think that shows how to do it digitally and traditionally. So if we want to pause the recording and people can share their layouts later, we'll resume in just a little bit.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
All right, so wrapping up here at the end, I did a little bit more digitally. I'm not sure that I'm kind of settled yet, but I used Forever's digital art, coordinated classics, bright and breezy. I'm still kind of playing with my photos and what I'm going to do, but I stick kind of close to the red, white, and blue theme, but I added some black in there just for something different.
Good.
So I believe Lynn has hers that she can share also.
Yeah, I don't have any photos. I haven't looked for photos for it, but I have my layout. It's working on it.
It's great when technology works fast and well, right?
Yeah, my computer seems to have slowed down tremendously. So
All right. Well, maybe we're not
I mean,
going.
it shows that it's sharing, but
Oh, there we go.
there we go.
Yay.
Oh, look, pretty colors.
Well, look at that. I like
Pretty.
that.
Totally different, but same
Yeah.
layout.
Same layout. Very nice. I like your little sun embellishment that you used. That was in that kit, right?
Right.
Right. It was in that other Forever digital art kit. So great.
Right.
Very nice.
Nice. Thank you. All right. And I think Vivian was going to share hers. And she took the layout from the package and then rotated one side. I like that. I like how that banner looks. That's really nice. I like that.
Yeah.
And then the other side you did pretty much as is, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Nice. And you
Yep.
have those sparkly embellishments
I
in
do.
there. Nice.
I have those. I'm going to put my pictures once I develop them.
Nice. Awesome.
Very nice.
Thank you.
you.
And then
Very
we'll
good.
wrap up with Cheryl's. That looks great. And again, if you do the layout with or without pictures, you're welcome to share them on our Facebook page, Consistently Creative Croppers. And we would love to see what you create with us, whether you're using the Creative Memories page kit or you're using your stash, or if you're doing it digitally. So thank you for watching and see you next time.
Thanks,
Great.
Carly.
Bye.